The Turkey Valley Trojans fell in week number 2 to Don Bosco, recapping that game with head coach Mark Scott. And coach, unfortunately, last Friday night just wasn't you guys' night. What'd you take away from last Friday?
Oh, they exposed a few things we didn't realize we needed to fix. So we'll have to fix a few things. They were jumping around defensive fronts, and we got confused a few times on who we needed to block. Need to block better. We need to tackle better. We kind of knew that ahead of time, but we need to be able to get off blocks and make better and be more consistent with our tackling.
What are the main lessons your team needs to learn from a game like last Friday?
It was just one game, and we got a whole season left ahead of us. That one's over and done with. We got to regroup and learn from our mistakes and be better.
And I know we talked about this earlier, but you guys got a week off this week with Rockford not fielding a varsity football team this year. This is something, unfortunately, that you've had to deal with over the last few years. How do you manage this week off from a preparation standpoint?
Well, since we got a few things exposed last week, it gives us a little extra time to work on some of the things we think we're going to need to work on. We don't need to get too gung-ho on things yet. Get a little more conditioning in and work on some basics and then get ready next week for Riceville.
And it's one of those situations where you've dealt with this in the years past. Do you learn anything from your preparation in years past when you've had these weeks off, or is it something that you have to base based on the unit that you're coaching this year?
Yeah, it's probably more, personnel wise. Yeah, how we need to attack it, practice and whatnot. It's the unfortunate thing is these kids are players are going to get, one less football game they get to play, and that's the bad part about it. Other than that, as a coaching standpoint, it is a week off. We did have a couple kids get banged up a little bit, so maybe they'll be able to get back in by the time we get, back into game week.
And do you put in any preparation for Riceville yet this week, or are you just going to treat this week differently and work on game prep next week?
Probably treat it a little differently. I mean, we'll probably do some, prep for Riceville, but majority of it's going to be, basics.
And how odd is it as a high school football coach not having a game to coach on a Friday night?
It gives me a chance to go watch somebody else play.
And that's an opportunity you rarely, if ever, get, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but it seems like about once every 3 years, it looks like now.
All right, Coach, hopefully you can have a good week of prep, get some kids back and healthy, and get back on the winning track as you get ready for another opponent next week. We appreciate the time, and here's hoping you can get better during this week off.
That's the game plan.
Mark Scott, head coach of the Turkey Valley Trojans.